we'll talk about Luka and how he is not signing his Panini cards that you guys are paying thousands of dollars for and buying into breaks and have been chasing like it's literally like you guys are chasing some pussy or some tail, but no, you've been chasing Luka Doncic cards for fucking 8 months and he's not even signing them.
Get ready. 9 minutes left of this kind of stuff.
If you don't like how I say Luka Doncic's fucking name, guess what, guys? He can't even fucking sign his name right on his cards. He doesn't sign his cards. It says Lulu and Lilu. He can't even fucking write his name right. Let alone am I gonna fucking get on here and say his name right. This is your whole life. A photo of a man with a signature on it that doesn't even spell his name right and wasn't even signed by him. That is what your whole life revolves around. I understand this.
By Luka, a finish by Doncic, a foul on Patrick Beverley.
You guys collected Luka because collectively that's who you guys decided to anoint the golden boy of the class. And then when Zion Williamson comes walking down the pike, you guys are gonna have to sell all your Luka Doncic autographs to go buy Zion, because in 3 months, no one is gonna care about a white basketball player who can barely speak English, and probably the coolest thing about him is his mom is smoking hot.
Luka Doncic from Ljubljana, Slovenia, and Real Madrid.
Stop buying Here's a Sport. Stop buying Luka Doncic. Okay, if it's a Hermes bag, it's a nice watch, nice pair of shoes, nice pair of pants, nice pair of shirt. Okay, that's something you guys need. You guys don't need any more overhyped white basketball players.
You've got to pump it up, and don't you know, pump it up. You've got to pump it up, and don't you know, pump it up. You've got to pump it up, and don't you know, pump it up. You've got to pump it up, and don't you know, pump it up. You've got to pump it.
Okay, we ended up buying a ton of cards on our live stream the other night on Thursday. We bought 7,500 total cards, give or take. It was $27 to ship those. I find that to be really cheap. Never really heard anybody talk about the shipping fees from auction houses when you're getting large lots of cards for them. So obviously I'm pleasantly surprised and happy that to ship 7,500 cards, which is again, very, very, very large amount of cards, it was only $27. Here's a rundown of some of the things we bought. We bought a Luka Doncic Contenders Optic Gold, serial number to 10 for $325 after the buyer's premium. I'll talk about Luka at the end of this video. I hope you enjoyed some of our old podcast clips where we certainly did not hold back our thoughts about him or anybody else, frankly, in this industry.
That's not content.
These videos we've made in the last year, frankly, are kind of tame compared to those old podcasts.
You are not the person that I have ever thought about suing.
I think I can get about $500 for this Luka to the right person. And we bought a Johnny Unitas signed boarding pass for $51 total. Seems like a no-brainer. Actually kind of like this item, kind of a cool piece. I'll probably price it kind of high. If it sells, it sells. If not, it's not really too big a deal to me. Wouldn't mind looking at Johnny U's first class boarding ticket every now and then.
Similar to a deer being caught in the headlight.
Bought a Joe Montana rookie for $104 total. Not an amazing deal on this total, but we are lifelong Joe Montana fans, so buying his rookies and holding them, it's actually one of the few cards I don't mind doing that with. I think I've owned 3 of his rookies over time. I still have a BGS 7 that I've never tried to sell. I flipped a CSG 1 for a nice profit. Bought a collection of 7,400 cards. There are these 1990 classic baseball sets. I think they were $26 total. I think after shipping, it worked out to like 30 cents per set. I really don't think I'll have a problem selling these, probably locally. Somebody's literally probably going to drive to my house and pick these up. I'll probably price them at about $1 each for each 50 card set, and some middle-aged or older white man, I'm sure will definitely buy these.
Clear!
Here is everything we won. We spent about $1,000, which if you remember, I think on our last video, I was saying we need to spend about $1,000 a day or try to ramp up to that. So I was very happy we were at least able to accomplish that while also live streaming on YouTube. Here are a couple flips for you just so that you could see the breakdown of the math on some of the fees when you're buying and selling these cards, similar to the way I do. Keep in mind, please, the stuff I just showed you that I bought from Golden, we're not going to be sending that to ComC, okay? It doesn't make sense to sell that stuff that way. That's not the strategy there. Those items will move easier somewhere else and cost less than fees. So shift your focus here.
Here the fuck we go!
You remember actually on the last video, I told you I buy a lot from DC Sports 87, a large consignor on eBay. Here is an example of a couple lower end flips. Here is Zion Williamson. I bought this in November for $11, flipped it for $36 about 34 days later. I break down all the fees. Now I do have an electric car, so we can add the 13 cents of electricity I used to drive to the post office. People like to nitpick fees on here, so, you know, we can add those if you want to, but pretty clearly, I made money on this Zion Williamson card. Second flip, and this was last night, a De'Aaron Fox card. Smaller margin here, you can see only made a couple bucks, but imagine if you could do this 50, 100, or 200 times per day, which I believe you can do now with sports cards. And with the vaults and people like ComC and Golden doing a lot of the work for you, pick, packing, and shipping and storing these cards and organizing them essentially for you, scaling something up this big wouldn't be as hard as it would be 10 years ago.
Hello.
And we'll be sure to take you along for the ride here at Sports Card Radio, the same way we've been doing for the better part of 15 years, creating content about sports cards on the internet. We have over 200 podcast episodes that are not safe for work on our website, which you just heard clips from at the beginning of this show. So let's talk about Luka. First things first, Luka is probably one of the only people in the world who could actually win a defamation lawsuit against us.
Drama.
We've made fun of his skin color.
Drama.
We've made fun of his ability to speak English.
Drama.
We've made fun of his basketball skills. We called his mom hot.
No.
We said he didn't sign his Panini America rookie cards that say Lulu, on and on. We roasted Luka Doncic quite a bit. To be clear, Luka Doncic is an amazing basketball player. Anyone, frankly, who reaches the NBA or really high-level college basketball are amazing basketball players. Luka is quite literally one of the greatest players ever. But when comparing all-time great players, you have to remember the era that my brother and I grew up watching basketball. We saw the end of Kareem Abdul-Jabbar's career. We saw Magic Johnson win NBA Finals. We watched the entire prime years of Michael Jordan's career. We saw the entire careers of Shaquille O'Neal, Kobe Bryant, LeBron James, and Steph Curry. To become a real all-time great, you have to win championships in the NBA, oftentimes multiple ones.
Gatekeepers.
Luka has not done that yet. I honestly don't think he will ever do that as a main player on an NBA team. I think that will have long-term impacts on his cards if he never reaches that level of those all-time greats I just talked about. But having said all this, did buy a Luka Doncic card. I honestly was surprised to win this. I think we had a much higher bid on this. I honestly think it's a $500 bill. Luka has a ton of fans. It's a rare card. $500 doesn't seem that unreasonable to me. But to all the Dallas Mavericks fans out there, we apologize to anything we said about your team, about your guy Luka. Quite frankly, I'm a Lakers fan, and if I were to choose of players or teams to watch around the league, it'd probably be the Warriors, and my second pick, which would be to watch Luka, because he is absolutely a lot of fun to watch. He's much more crafty than I probably gave him credit for. A few years ago when we were talking about him, he's an incredibly skilled basketball player. He sees the floor amazingly well. He's an absolute joy to watch, quite frankly. So I look forward to watching him and Kyrie, seeing what they're able to do with that duo there. But that's all we have for you today. Be sure to join us next week. We'll have several videos for you. I think we might be headed to a card show, and we'll probably jump on again live on Thursday. And we'll be back here on Sports Card Radio to cover it all.
You dip, Daniel?